Now, one of the frequent topics of this show is this guy Fauci, and because everyone worships him like he's some kind of good Samaritan. He's a tool of Big Pharma, and he's a pathological liar, and he lied to Congress, and he should be prosecuted and in prison. And he's failed us over COVID time and time again. And so he's been rightfully criticized. We've caught him lying 3 big times. We've caught him personally here at this show lying 3 huge. He lied about masks. He admitted he lied about it. I'm going to show you that. He lied about herd immunity. He lied about it and then admitted he lied about it. And then he lied about funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan. He hasn't admitted he lied about that, but he did. So those are the 3 big, huge lies we caught. And so people criticize him because he's had a very poor handling of COVID. And this is his response. Watch this.
It seems another layer of danger to play politics around matters of life and death.
Right, exactly. And to me, that's unbelievably bad, because all I want to do is save people's lives.
That's all he wants to do.
Anybody who's looking at this carefully realizes that there's a distinct anti-science flavor to this. So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. But they're really criticizing science, because I represent science.
You're really criticizing science. And I guess you're not supposed to ever criticize science. So what? We were never supposed to question Newton's ideas. We never supposed to adopt Einstein. Isn't that how science works, by questioning it? Of course, that's how it works. You're supposed to question science and challenge it all the time. That's why stuff is peer reviewed. You never stop asking questions of science. You never stop trying to knock it down. You never stop trying to add on. And I'm a comedian, and I know that. I'm a dumb comedian, and I know that. I mean, what? He's saying you can't question science. That's what he's saying. Well, how are we going to invent the next asbestos? Or how about the next atom bomb? How about DDT? If you don't question science, where are we going to get all those great things? Where are we going to get asbestos from? For the love of children, spare a thought for SpaceX. So he's got a little more to say.
That's dangerous. To me, that's more dangerous than the slings and the arrows that get thrown at me. And if you damage science, you are doing something very detrimental to society long after I leave.
So he's saying any criticism of him is doing damage to science, and it's anti-science. It has an anti-science flavor. You heard him say that. So any criticism of him is doing damage to science, and how dare you? So what he is doing is using the term science as a shield from criticism. He's using it as a cudgel against his political enemies. That's what he's using science for right now, which is insidious and nefarious. And you want to know how I can prove it? I'll prove it to you right now. Because in the Newsweek, establishment rag Newsweek, there was this article, How Fauci Fooled America, in Newsweek. And who wrote it? A couple of comedians, maybe? Who wrote it? Well, what did they say? They said, unfortunately, Dr. Fauci got major epidemiology and public health questions wrong. Reality and scientific studies have now caught up with him. Oh my God, why are you being anti-science? Why are you attacking science? Who are these people who don't care about science or the damage they're going to do to science? Who are these people? Well, the first guy is Martin Kulldorff. He's a PhD and an epidemiologist, biostatistician, and a professor of medicine at Harvard. So is he attacking science, Dr. Fauci, or is he attacking your stupid interpretation of science? I think he's attacking your stupid interpretation of science. He's questioning your ideas. Who's the other person? Jay Bhattacharya, MD, PhD, is a professor of health policy at Stanford University School of Medicine. Couple of wingnuts that Harvard and Stanford employs. So are those the people that are attacking science? People who are scientists themselves? Are they the one attacking science? Or are they attacking your interpretation of it? You lying criminal. So here's a guy who's a Nobel laureate. His name is Kary Mullis. I think that's how you say his name. He won a Nobel Prize, and all he got was this baggy T-shirt. He won a Nobel Prize, and let's listen to what he has to say about Dr. Fauci and science.
Stuff and listen, these guys like Fauci get up there and start talking. He doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine, and he should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on the bottom. Those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people that pay his salary and lie directly into the camera.
Is he attacking science, the Nobel laureate in science? Is that what he's doing? Is he damaging science, Anthony Fauci, or is he exposing you? Is he criticizing you? So he went on. This was a big. He went on. He said more stupid stuff. Let's listen.
Now, where I am at my age, my job has been totally focused on doing what I can with the talents and the influence I have to make scientific advances to protect the health of the American public. So anybody who spends lies and threatens and all that theater that goes on with some of the investigations and the congressional committees and the Rand Pauls and all that other nonsense, that's noise, Margaret. That's noise.
So he's referring to when he lied to Congress and Rand Paul rightly called him out for it. He's saying that's noise. That's what he's saying.
What my job is.
Senator Cruz told the...
So that's what he's saying. He's saying that's noise. And do you want to see the noise he's talking about? So here is Dr. Fauci lying and saying that he did not authorize funding of gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, which is when they take a virus and make it more infectious and more all that stuff we don't want to do. Barack Obama had put a pause on that kind of research because it was so dangerous. He found a way around it, and Rand Paul found out about it. He was funding it through a grant to this place called the EcoHealth Alliance. And then they were giving the money to, and when they found out about it, and he lied about it to Congress twice. And here's the first time he lied.
That the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute
Do they fund
of
Dr.
Virology.
Barrick?
We do not fund.
Do you fund Dr. Barrick's gain-of-function research?
Dr. Barrett does not doing gain-of-function research, and if it is, it's according to the guidelines, and it is.
So I just wanted to show you that was funny. That was him saying he is not doing that, and if he is, he's doing it, the right way. So he was lying. Rand Paul knew that he was lying, and so the next time he came back to Congress, Rand Paul says this to him.
For which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you were referring to was judged by qualified staff
Up and down the chain. What does that mean? People I appointed and hired and rely on me for a paycheck are agreeing with me on this. Even though they're not actually. They're not. They don't agree with him. He was making that up too. Qualified people up and down the chain. What? Up and down what chain? Fucking, were you yanking my chain? Quit yanking my chain, because he is. Because guess what? In major shift, NIH admits funding risky virus research in Wuhan. So that was Dr. Fauci twice lying to Congress. Now here's what, and here they still tried to protect him. They still tried to protect him. An NIH spokesperson said Dr. Fauci was entirely truthful in his statement to Congress and that he did not have the report that detailed the controversial research at the time he testified. Oops, turns out that's a lie too. But Echo Health Alliance contradicted that claim and said in a statement, this data was reported as soon as we were made aware in our Year 4 report in April 2018. The NIH letter, coming after months of congressional demands for more information, underscored that America's premier science institute has been less than forthcoming about risky research it funded and failed to properly monitor. And he lied about it to Congress twice. He should be prosecuted and in jail. And because I should have showed you the first two big lies, the lies about masks and herd immunity, and then that's the third lie that he did twice. Twice. By the way, Gilles Damanuth, a New Zealand data scientist in New Zealand, told Vanity Fair, I cannot be sure that COVID-19 originated from a research-related accident or infection from a sampling trip, but I'm 100% sure there was a massive cover-up. And that's the guy, oh my God, if you criticize me, you're damaging science, how dare you? Have you ever seen a more insidious thing that you could do? But first of all, just the arrogance of that on its face. If you criticize me, you're criticizing science. I am science. I am science of the forest. So here we go. Now she's going to ask him about this. Watch this.
I know what my job is.
Senator Cruz told the Attorney General you should be prosecuted.
Yeah. I'd have to laugh at that.
Now, does that seem like a sincere laugh, or does that seem like the laugh of a guy who knows that he should be in prison? That's what that sounds like. Who overly laughs at something like that? Why would you really? That's the thing that makes you laugh? Sicilian's our world's heavyweight champion liars. Guy's got 18 tells, women got 21. This guy is showing 19 tells. This guy is the biggest liar, and that's why he's laughing like a jackass at the fact that a senator is accusing him and saying he should be prosecuted. A senator. Why? Because he lied to Congress. And that's what you do when you've been credibly accused of a crime on television. You try to laugh it off. Let's watch it again.
I know what my job is.
Senator Cruz told the Attorney General you should be prosecuted.
Yeah. I'd have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted. What happened on January 6th, Senator?
What the F is the head doctor in America doing talking about January 6th in a television interview? What is he doing bringing it up out of nowhere? That's a sitting senator saying that you should be prosecuted for lying to Congress. And you turn around and talk about a health issue, and you don't talk about that health issue. You talk about something totally else after you unconvincingly try to laugh it off. Oh, that's so funny. I should be prosecuted. I have to laugh. Please let me laugh. See how hard I'm laughing? That should mean it's funny, and there's no validity to it, except there's 100% validity to it, because Jimmy Dore just showed you. Why did I refer to myself in the third person?
Do you think that this is about making you a scapegoat to deflect from
course.
President Trump?
Of course.
Of course, you have to be a.
Of course, you have to be asleep. Oh, really? You have to be asleep to not see that you lied to Congress twice. And so he's stoking the culture wars. You see how his mouth is linked to the side there? It's also a sign. That's a tell he's lying. Everything he's doing.
His eyes are closed.
His eyes are closed. He's lying. So that's why he has to do that, because he knows he's being credibly accused by a powerful person, a senator.
Sleep not to figure that one out.
Well, there are a lot of Republican senators taking aim at this. I mean,
That's okay. I'm just going to do my job. And I'm going to be saving lives, and they're going to be lying.
I think we proved who the pathological liar is already. But I'll get to it. I'll get to even more. So there he is calling half the Senate liars. That's the top doctor in America. Could he be more political? Talk about politicizing everything while he's lying. So you want to see him lie? Here he is. He was asked about masks when COVID started. Watch this.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really
No.
closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
Now, according to him, he's lying here. So everything he's saying, which sounds like super sincere and earnest, I wouldn't be lying. He's actually lying. According to him, he's lying. Some people say he's telling the truth there and he lied later. But according to him, he's lying right now. I'll show you when he says it. But watch this.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you...
So there he is, and someone asks him about it a couple of months later on an interview. Hey, why were you telling people not to wear masks, and now you're telling them, listen to what his excuse is.
So you shouldn't discount that. Now, getting back to your first question, which was, what about a month or so, or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask? Well, the reason...
Well, I was lying. And the reason why I was lying, he'll never say that, but here it is. The reason why I was lying is
that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers, who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected, we did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed.
So he decided to make sure they got the masks they needed was to lie to you about healthcare and tell you that masks didn't help you and that you're an idiot for using them, even though he knew he was lying, that they would help you if you had a mask. And the reason why he said he lied, he thinks it's okay to lie, is because he knows better than everybody, and you're going to go out and get a mask to try to save yourself when he needed those masks for the hospital workers, and they're more important than you. So what that implies, if he's right about the mask science now, is that people didn't use masks because he told them not to. They got infected with corona and died. And that's another reason why he should be in prison. Because if what he just said, if that's... So people watched him say that. They thought he was telling the truth. He was lying. He's admitting right now why he did it. He never says I lied. He just says why I said that, which is another way to say why I lied. And he says because there was a shortage of masks, we wanted to make sure our hospital workers got the masks. And I didn't want regular people going out and buying them to protect themselves. So I told them it didn't protect them. And so they didn't wear them. And they went out and got COVID and they died. That's the part nobody brings up to him, ever. But here he is admitting that he lied.
So there was not enthusiasm about going out and everybody buying a mask.
There was not enthusiasm. That's a big difference from, so what I did was I lied to people to make sure they wouldn't go out and buy a mask. There wasn't enthusiasm for telling people. You didn't commit a sin of omission. He committed a crime of commission. You told people it didn't work. You didn't have low enthusiasm for telling them to get one. You told them don't get one because it doesn't help. So that guy's a pathological liar, admitted pathological liar. And he lied to Congress. Lied to the American people. He admitted he lied to them about masks. That guy should immediately been fired. Immediately. How can we ever trust anything he says now? Because if he feels like it, and there's a good enough reason that he thinks, he'll just lie to you because he knows no one will ever prosecute him. He should be prosecuted for that. People probably died because of that. He should be in jail. But he serves Wall Street, and he serves big pharma, and he serves in big health insurance, so he'll never be prosecuted because all his lies are at the behest of the establishment, which is why the guy from the CIA could lie to Congress, and he was never prosecuted. So if you're doing the lying at the behest of the establishment, there's never a price to pay. That's why he's allowed to do this. That's why he's still the guy. And they're supposed to be better than Trump. Beyond the dangerous arrogance and pomposity of proclaiming anyone who criticizes me as attacking science, thus placing himself off limits from questioning, he admitted he purposely issued false, anti-science, politicized claims, such as telling people not to wear masks. By the way, this is from the first time he did it. He said he did this back, I think, in June. He told Chuck Todd, "You criticize me, you're attacking science." That's what he was. He did it again. And now you want to see how big of a liar he is? It's easy to make a comedy. Well, not easy, but it's someone can easily make a comedy video out of it. And Mazemore did this. Watch this.
People should not be walking around with masks. Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and masks are protective.
So now what is he besides just a out-and-out liar? What is he now? Is he attacking science? So if I question any of that, am I attacking science? This guy is a charlatan fraud of the highest order.
But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. There has not been any indication that putting a mask on and wearing a mask for a considerable period of time has any deleterious effects. There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
You do not need to wear a mask indoors if, in fact, you've been vaccinated. Good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask.
So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask. If, in fact, you are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask outdoors or indoors. When the children go out into the community, you want them to continue to wear masks. You know, if you look at children outside, particularly when they're with the family, walking down the street, playing a game or what have you, don't have to wear a mask. The Academy of Pediatric actually makes that recommendation that children should be wearing masks from 2 years old onward. And you're asking now, if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes.
But the child can't, not to beat it to death.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Because now the CDC says, I think I've got this right. 1 mask is better than 0 masks. 2 masks is better than 1 mask. But you don't have to have double masks. Is that right?
It became clear that cloth coverings that you didn't have to buy in a store, that you could make yourself, were adequate. And then you want it to fit better. So one of the ways you could do it, if you would like to, is put a cloth mask over, which actually here and here and here, where you get leakage in, is much better contained.
And are you a double masker, Dr. Fauci? It looked like you are.
And of course, the last picture is him not wearing his mask. That was hilarious. So there is him He's attacking himself left and right there. So, of course, you could question science. Of course, you're supposed to. And, of course, you're super supposed to question a frickin' government employee, especially a career government employee like this guy. But all of that doesn't matter to a lot of people. I don't care what anyone says. I love this man. Isn't that something? So they've made votive candles for this guy. You know what those are? Those are religious candles. They used to put. They've done that for him. They've made action figures of him. Votive candle. His name's even on bikini underwear. He's a made man, baby. And there's nothing you can do about it. He's a made man. And then as he says that, I'm a made man, baby, the camera pulls out and you see he's just kind of toasting a dog over a spit. Because that's who Dr. Fauci is. So now I hope you know the rest of the story and you don't buy the propaganda from the establishment or the social media shitlib Twitters, because if you don't think Big Pharma, Wall Street have dozens of troll farms that are there to boost people like this, you're wrong. They do. And there's probably, who knows who that guy is. Lorenzo the K. He's got a blue check. Maybe he just feels it in his heart. He's even choking this dog right there. You could see he's choking the dog.
Did Lorenzo the cat see the other images with Fauci, the conduct that with the other animals?
Oh, you mean where you had animals' heads stuck in cages and then sand fleas bit them to death? You mean like that?
Yes.
And by the way, the agency that revealed all that kind of horrid torture that he was paying and he was funding, they were celebrated by the Washington Post and the shitlibs up until they started talking about Fauci. And now they totally try to discredit that organization.
Oh.
They did a hit piece on that organization, I'm pretty sure, in the Washington Post. Yeah, the one that let us know he's torturing dogs. It really does look like he's choking that dog there.
Yeah.
And he's smiling. Of course he is. Okay, so there's your Fauci. Hey, we're doing live stand-up shows in Los Angeles, December 3rd, 10th, and 17th. The first 3 Fridays in December in Studio City at Two Roads Theater. If you're in Los Angeles area, see you there.